Hello students. So we are continuously seeing about this unit number 5, that is stresses and beams. So I have already told in the previous lecture, the last time I have told you that I am going to take you as in parts. So last lecture will be part 1. So it will be this lecture will be the continuation of this of that lecture. So as I already taught you what is simple bending, right? Simple bending. So simple bending is nothing but due to the application of loads, there will be both shear forces and bending moments will act on a beam. So that type of beam due to the bending is known as simple bending. I also explained you what is pure bending. Pure bending is nothing but what? The beam where the loads is applied, but at the particular some part of the beam where there is no loads. So at the particular point there will be no bending and shear forces also. Okay. So that type of section is called as pure bending. Okay. So in this lecture we are going to study about theory of simple bending. As I have already told you, there are two types of bending moment. What are the two types of bending moment? One is positive bending moment. It is also called as sagging bending moment. And next one is hogging bending moment. It is also called as negative bending moment. Okay. So simple bending is nothing but this comprises of both hogging bending moment and sagging bending moment. So either it will have the compression at the top and the tension at the bottom, or it will have tension at the top of the beam and the compression at the bottom of the beam. I have already explained in the neutral axis part, so I will explain you again. See, this is the beam which is bent in a concave manner. So if the beam is bent in a concave manner, so you can see that the top portion of the beam is compressed. Compressed means its length is decreased, and the bottom of the beam is tensioned. That means that bottom of the beam, the length of the beam is increased due to the sagging bending moment in a concave manner. But the neutral axis, which is not either compression or tension, will remain same, which is neutral, which is not either compression or tension. So this type of thing is one type of simple bending, that is sagging bending moment is one type of simple bending. Second one is hogging bending moment. I have already explained you, right? So in a convex manner the beam is bended. So convex manner means what? That is the top portion of the beam is tensioned and the bottom portion of the beam is compressed. Yes, but the neutral axis will remain as it is. There will be no tension. It is not tensioned or compressed. Okay. So this type of beam is called as hogging bending moment beam. So this is also called as negative bending moment, and sagging is also called as positive bending moment. Okay. So these are the two types of bending in a simple bending. So this is the concept of simple bending. There are two types of bending moment. One is sagging bending moment and another one is hogging bending moment. Okay. So I will explain to you, sagging is nothing but it is bended in a concave manner where compression is acting on the top of the beam and tension is acting at the bottom of the beam. And in hogging bending moment, where tension is acting at the top of the beam and compression is acting at the bottom of the beam. But in both the cases, neutral axis remains constant. There is no change in neutral axis. It is not either compression or tension. So this is the concept of simple bending. You understand? Next one, we are going to see some assumptions in theory of pure bending. So these are simple assumptions. So there are simple 6 assumptions, very simple only. So it's very easy. I will explain you. So first assumption is, as you already know what is theory of bending, right? Theory of bending is due to the application of the load, there is the beam will tend to deform. Deform means what? Change in shape or dimension. So due to the deformation, the internal resistance of that particular beam will resist that deformation to deform. So if you take in bending, means that is called as bending stress. Pure bending is nothing but the bending which is having zero, where there is no load. So that type of bending is called as pure bending. Okay, so we are going to see some assumptions in this type of pure bending and theory of bending. Okay, so first assumption is the material of the beam is homogeneous and isotropic. What is homogeneous? Homogeneous is nothing but which is having the same kind of materials. Homogeneous is nothing but it is having same properties. That is called as homogeneous. So the material of a beam, what are the materials of the beam? So it may be concrete, so it may be beam may be casted in steel. So all the materials of the beam in a pure bending is considered as homogeneous. Homogeneous is nothing but the beam is what? Having same properties. And isotropic. Isotropic is nothing but having the same physical properties. What are the physical properties in a material? It will have some texture, color, some density, strength. So these are all the physical properties of a beam or any object. So if a beam having same physical properties, there is no having same value in all physical properties. Not same physical properties, it is having the value of all the properties is same. For example, if you take color property, density, or thickness, or strength, or durability, so the value is same. So that type of thing we are calling it as isotropic. You understand? So the first assumption is the material of the beam is homogeneous and isotropic. Okay. So next one, transverse section of the beam which is plane before bending will remain plane after the bending. So what is transverse section? Transverse section, see, I will draw a beam. So this is a beam. It's a beam. Okay, so the length of the beam, this section is called as longitudinal section. Okay, this section is called as longitudinal section. The section which we consider in the lengthwise of a beam, that is called as longitudinal section. If we consider in a breadthwise, this section, okay, breadthwise section means that section is called as transverse section. Okay, so this is the difference between transverse. Transverse section is nothing but the section in the breadthwise of the beam. If you consider in a lengthwise, that is longitudinal section. So what is your second assumption? So transverse section of the beam which is plane before bending will remain plane after the bending also. So while we are applying load on a beam, so this transverse this transverse section is nothing but what? The breadth side of the section of the beam. So it will, which is plane before bending, it's plane. Plane means what? Having no ups and downs in it. Okay, it is a plane surface. Okay, it is plane after bending also. If it is bended in a hogging or sagging type, after bending also, if you see from the top of the top view, if you see from a top view, it will remain plane only. There will be no change. That is second assumption. Okay, third assumption is the beam is stressed well up to proportional limit. What is proportional limit? See, the third assumption is the beam is stressed well up to proportional limit. So what is proportional limit? See, as you know, when a structure or beam is subjected to some type of load, immediately there will be stress and strain will be developed immediately. Okay, so at a particular point, see, for example, if you are taking an elastic property, what is elastic property of a particular material? What is elastic property? Elastic property is nothing but if you apply load, it may tend to tension or compression. After immediately, if the load is if you reduce the load, what will happen? It will regain its original shape. Okay, so that is called as elastic property of a material. So if there is if the load is not there, means it will regain its original position. So this proportional limit is nothing but for elastic property. At a particular point, this elastic property of a material will change into a plastic property. That means it will not regain its original shape at a particular point. So till that particular point, the material will have the behavior of elastic. It will have the elastic behavior. Okay, so after that limit, after that particular point, it will become as a plastic material. So that means it will not regain its original position. So that particular point where the material changes from elastic to that plastic, that particular point, that point is called as proportional limit. Okay, so the beam is stressed well up to proportional limit. So in your pure bending beam, so you are going to assume that the beam is stressed to up to proportional limit. That means what? After proportional limit, it is strained. It is stressed means what? It is having that internal resistance is there up to that proportional limit. After that point, it is strained. Strained means what? Change in the length. Okay, that's the thing. So such that it obeys Hooke's law. Okay, so that is your third assumption. And fourth assumption is the value of Young's modulus is same in tension and in compression. What is Young's modulus? Young's modulus is nothing but the ratio of change in the ratio of stress to strain. Okay, so Young's modulus is denoted as E, the ratio of stress to strain. Stress is internal resistance to the strain, that is deformation or change in length or change in dimension. Okay, so the ratio of stress to strain will be it is called as Young's modulus. So the value of Young's modulus is same in tension and in compression of a section, that we are assuming. Okay, these all are assumptions. Very easy, right? Next one is elastic limit is not exceeded. Elastic limit, I have already told you, right? At a particular limit, for a particular limit, the material will behave as elastic. Its property will be in elastic. After that limit, beyond that limit, it will behave as a plastic property. So the elastic limit is not exceeded. It will not exceed. This is one assumption. And your last assumption is the beam is initially straight and unstressed. So before applying load, the beam is what? It is unstressed. There is no stress because there is no load applied in the initial, and it is straight. After application of load only, it may tend to deform. Okay, so that is your 6 assumptions. So what are the assumptions? So the material of the beam is homogeneous, having same kind of properties, and isotropic, having same kind of physical properties, and transverse section of the beam remains plane. After bending also it will remain plane, and beam is stressed well up to proportional limit, and the value of Young's modulus is same for tension and in compression. Elastic limit is not exceeded. The beam is initially straight and unstressed. So these are very simple 6 assumptions. Very simple. So next topic we are going to see about bending stress and their nature. Okay, bending stress and their nature. So next topic, bending stress. See, bending stress and their nature. Okay, bending stress and their nature. What is bending stress? The first definition I have taught you, right, in this unit. What is bending stress? Bending stress is nothing but the stress which is nothing but the internal resistance which is offered on a beam where there is load applied to resist the deformation. So here to resist the bending, the internal resistance which is offered to resist the bending of a particular beam due to the application of load is called as bending stress, as you already know, right? So we are going to see that bending stress is denoted as sigma b. What? Bending stress is denoted as sigma b. Okay, stress is denoted as what? Sigma, as you already know, right? In unit 1 itself you have studied what is stress. Stress is denoted as sigma. Bending stress is denoted as sigma b. Okay, so we are going to see their nature. So first I will explain you with some diagrams so that you can understand it very clearly. See, for example, I'm going to take a beam. Okay, so a beam. So A, B, C, D. A beam. I have to take a beam. Okay, so at a distance of dx. I'm going to take this, the length of the beam is dx. Okay, so here neutral axis in this portion of the beam. Neutral axis is acting in this portion of the beam. So your bending moment, this is your baseline. Your bending moment will look like this. You have to see like this. Okay, you have to see like this. This is the baseline. So due to this beam, your bending moment will be like this. Okay, so this is your bending moment. So your stress will be sigma, the bending stress. So we are going to calculate this bending stress formula. We are going to calculate how much bending stress is acting in a particular section. So immediately if you apply load, what will happen? It may tend to bend, right? So this beam is bent in a sagging bending moment. Okay, this bend in a sagging bending moment. So we are going to consider it as a arc of a circle. How you will draw arc of circle? First you will place a point. See, this is a compass. For example, I'm going to explain. This is a compass. You will place your compass in one position, and what you will draw? You will draw an arc like this, right? Draw an arc like this, like that only. So at a point O, you are going to consider this bending as a arc. Okay, so that point O, this bending beam is considered as a arc of a circle. Okay, so after bending, I'm going to take this as a dash, B dash, D dash and C dash, and this neutral axis will be like this, right? It will be like this. This is R dash, this is S dash. Okay, so this is point O. So I'm going to consider this bending stress of the beam as an arc of circle from the point O. So the distance between this point O to this neutral axis R dash S dash will be R. I'm going to take it as R. Okay, please listen carefully. Very simple. So this equation, we are going to find the equation for bending stress. This equation only very important to solve every problem in your unit number 5. Okay, now I'm going to consider a strip. Okay, now I'm going to take a small strip in this particular beam. Okay, so there are some angle that is acting on a beam. So I'm going to take a small strip on the beam. See, I'm going to take a small strip on the beam. So I'm going to calculate bending stress in a particular small strip. So this small strip is at a distance of y from this neutral axis. It is a small distance of y, okay, simply y, from this neutral axis to this small strip. So here how it will be after bending, it will look like this, right? Look like strip will be look like this. So this is the small strip. So this strip I'm going to name it as P and Q. So this will become P dash Q dash at a distance of how much? It is at a distance of y, right? It is in a distance of y. So from this neutral axis to this arc, the distance is P dash Q dash with arc distance is y. Okay. So now I'm going to calculate the bending stress in this arc. Okay. So I'm going to take the angle. We will take an angle of theta, and m is nothing but moment acting on the beam. R is nothing but this R is nothing but radius of curvature. Radius of curvature of beam. Okay. So now we are going to calculate the bending stress in a particular strip of P dash Q dash at a distance of y from the neutral axis. Okay. So let this layer be compressed to, so this layer PQ is compressed to what? Compressed to P dash Q dash, as you see in this diagram of a particular point O of an arc of a circle, that is bending. So we know what is strain formula. Strain is nothing but what? Change in length to the original length, you know, right? So strain is nothing but change in length by the original length. Okay. So here what is change in length? The original length of the strip is what? For example, the original length of the strip we are taking as PQ. This PQ is the original length of the strip. After bending, the length is changed into P dash Q dash. Okay. So that what is change in length? So it is changed from PQ to P dash Q dash. That is nothing but, so change in length is PQ minus P dash Q dash. It is changed from PQ to P dash Q dash. Yes. So that is your change in length. So change in length by original length. Okay. So how can we write this equation? Strain is equal to change in length is PQ minus P dash Q dash is your change in length divided by original length is PQ. Original length of the strip is PQ. Okay. Next one, from this geometry of the curved beam, find the two sections OP dash Q and OR dash S dash are similar. Okay. So as you can see here, from this point O to this PQ, see, from point O to this PQ and from point O to this R dash S dash is similar, right? So it is also like this, and from O to this also like this. So it is similar. So see, I will write like this. So your O P dash Q dash, so O P dash Q dash and O R dash S dash, O R dash S dash is similar. Yes, it is similar according to your figure. So we can write like this, right? P dash Q dash divided by R dash S dash. So it is similar, right? P dash Q dash by R dash S dash is equal to, so what is P dash Q dash? P dash Q dash is nothing but what? So the thickness of P dash Q dash. What is this thickness of P dash Q dash? How can we find? So the total distance from this neutral axis is what? R. Yes. This R minus this small y. What is this distance? This y distance is nothing but the distance from this neutral axis to this strip. And R is the distance from the point O to this neutral axis. If you minus this r with this y, you will get the distance of this or thickness of this particular strip. You understand? So PQ dash thickness, that is r minus y. You understand? Divided by what is r dash? R dash is nothing. R is dash s dash, that is nothing but neutral axis. So the distance from this from point O to this neutral axis is nothing but what? Simply r. So r dash s dash is simply r, and p dash q dash is r minus y. You understand? So this is how we are going to take. So now we are going to take both sides. We are going to minus with 1. We are going to minus with 1 with both. So we are going to take like this. Take like this. 1 minus p dash q dash by r dash s dash is equal to 1 minus r minus y by r. We are going to take minus of 1 minus on the both the sides. Okay. So now multiply. So it will become like this, equation will become like by what? R dash s dash minus p dash q dash by r dash s dash. So here we can write as r minus r plus y. So it will be in bracket r minus r plus y by r. You can write like this, right? So it will become what? Y by r. You understand? It will become y by r. See this equation, r minus plus y by r. So that will become r minus r will be 0. So y by r. So we can write like this, right? So you can see here r dash s dash minus p dash q dash divided by r dash s dash is equal to y by r. You can write like this. So now we are taking r dash s dash is equal to pq. We are going to take r dash s dash is equal to pq. So substitute pq in this equation. So pq minus p dash q dash divided by pq is equal to y by r. You can take like this. You already know, right? The stress. What is stress? PQ minus P dash Q dash by PQ is equal to stress. So we can substitute that, right? So stress is nothing but what? Stress is equal to Y by R. So you all know what is, we have to find the bending stress. That is strain. Sorry, this is strain. Strain is equal to this equation. So we have got strain is equal to Y by R. We have to find the bending stress, that is sigma B. So what is strain actually? We have another formula, right? Young's modulus E is equal to stress by strain. Yes. So we can write it as like this also, right? Strain is equal to, so stress is equal to sigma is equal to E into strain. We can write like this also, right? Yes. So how can we can write like this also? So stress, bending stress is equal to Young's modulus into strain. So what is strain actually? It is Y by R. Substitute that, sigma B is equal to E into Y by R. So this is the equation for bending stress. Okay. So you can write like this also. Sigma, since E and R is constant, only Y is what? Having value, because it is a distance from this particular strip to this neutral axis. So it is not constant. But this Young's modulus and radius of curvature is constant. So since that is constant, we can write this equation as like this also. Sigma B by Y is equal to E by R. You can write like this also. Sigma B by Y is equal to E by R. Okay. So that is nothing but what? This equation is called as bending stress equation. Bending stress equation. So bending stress equation is nothing but, I will write here, bending stress equation, sigma B by Y is equal to E by R. This is bending stress equation. Or else we can write like sigma B is equal to E by R into Y. Okay. Students, you understand how to find the bending stress equation? So this is very simple, right? So this equation only we will use to find the moment of inertia for a particular bending stress beam. Okay, you will use this equation, sigma B by Y is equal to E by R. So it is very simple, students. So this will be your part 2. Okay, so in next lecture I will give some more. We will see about moment of inertia. Okay, using this bending stress equation, we'll see what is moment of inertia. You understand? So in this lecture we have studied about what? Simple bending and the assumptions of a particular pure bending beam or simple bending beam, and assumptions of theory of bending also we can tell it as. And next one we have studied about bending stress and their nature. So bending stress sigma b is equal to E by R into Y, or we can write that expression as sigma b by Y is equal to E by R. Thank you, students.